Okay, good morning. To begin my Dharma message, please join me in Gassho. Put your hands together. I have collected true words to aid others in their practice for attaining birth, in order that the process be made continuous without end, without interruption, by which those who are being born first guide those who come later, and those who are born later join those who were born before. There is so that the boundless ocean of birth and death be exhausted. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Okay, again, thank you for coming to this Sunday service this morning. Tired. I wasn't planning to chant entire Ojo Raisan this morning, so I was thinking to stop in between, then skip some portion, then to the end. I was just thinking, just like last Sunday. That's what I was thinking. But while I was chanting, well, maybe we can go a little bit more. Well, maybe we can go one more page. Oh, they almost end. Okay, we can go through the entire Ojo Raisan. Then after the sutra chanting, I was so thirsty. So before my giving a Dharma message, I need to have some water. So I skipped the Ondok-san. I went to the office, I have some water, then I came back. But I really appreciate all of you joining the sutra chanting of Ojo Raisan this morning. So this is one special sutra chanting. Then plus, today we are celebrating BCA Founding Day. So September 1st is we recognize the BCA's Founding Day. So usually at the Seattle Betsun Buddhist Temple, the first Sunday in September, we are celebrating, recognizing BCA, Buddhist Churches of America's Founding Day. Then I heard, according to the BCA's history, before the World War II, this Ojo Raisan was chanted among the members. Then one I heard from my senpai, senior minister, he mentioned before the World War II in Fresno, at the Fresno Betsun in California, all Sangha get together at the temple, then chanted the Ojo Raisan together. 1,000 people came. 1,000. That's amazing. I don't know how they were able to get together. I don't know who counted 1,000 people, but I heard, well, that many, lots of people came and chanted together Ojo Raisan. So then during the sutra chanting, I thought, when I remember that history of BCA, I would start thinking, oh, maybe it is a good timing, good day to chant the entire Ojo Raisan. Yeah, we made it. We made it. So I'm thinking to chant this Ojo Raisan for the Honko service in 2024, next year. So probably during the Dharma exchange, September, October, November, I'm thinking some Dharma exchange, I'd like to schedule the chanting practice on Sunday. So please join the chanting practice sometimes. So today we are celebrating 124th anniversary of BCA's founding day. So the next year is a kind of celebration, 125th anniversary of BCA's founding day. So then Buddhist Churches of America is planning to celebrate little bit of a bigger celebration next year. So September, well then this is a coincidence, but next year, September 1st is on Sunday. So that's why we decided, Buddhist Churches of America Ministers Association's meeting, we usually have the meeting in the middle of August, but we decided to have a meeting very end of the August. They stay in San Francisco. Then we have a special celebration service ceremony at the San Francisco Buddhist Church. That's a headquarter, BCA headquarter, the first temple of the BCA. So that service is going to be live streamed. So we can set up TV and screen. Then those who are in Seattle or whoever can watch the live streaming service. That's a plan. Then BCA, Buddhist Churches of America, is encouraging each district to do something special for the celebration. So Northwest, next year, White River is hosting Northwest Convention in September. So in next year's Northwest Convention is going to be in conjunction with the BCA's 125th anniversary. To think about today's Dharma message, because today is a BCA Founding Day, I open this book. Do you know what this book? Some of you may have this book at home. So this is upside down. So Buddhist Churches of America, a legacy of the first 100 years. So when BCA celebrated centennial 24 years ago, they published this book. So then there is the history of very, very beginning of the BCA, how BCA started, founded. So let me introduce the history of BCA. Then I found a website too. When you go to the BCA's website, you can find about BCA. Then you can find that page. I'm so sorry, I thought this is much bigger screen we can use, but we can only see the part of the website page. So the first page, it says, Shin Buddhism was founded in Japan nearly 800 years ago. The founder of our tradition, Shinran Shonin, wanted to make the heart of the Buddhist path accessible to anyone. In 1899, September 1st, 2 ministers traveled from Japan to San Francisco. They arrived in response to Japanese immigrants who had asked to hear the Dharma in their new home. They also held regular Dharma talks in English to introduce the broader American public to Shin Buddhism. First organized as a Buddhist mission of the North America, this was the start of what is now the Buddhist Churches of America, BCA. So this was written on the website, but this book has more detail of our BCA's history. So before the 1899, 1891, one man whose name is Nisaburo Hirano, who is 22 years old, he immigrated in US from Japan. He was a devoted Buddhist, Jodo Shinshu Buddhist, but there was no Buddhist temple in San Francisco, California, in the United States. So he was attending a Methodist church to study English. So then, later, he was suggested to accept the baptism. But he decided not to accept, not to be baptized. Then in 1897, Mr. Hirano, when he was 27 years old, finally, he was able to return to Japan and visit the Honganji. At that time, Honganji, our mother temple, was observing the important memorial service. Even nowadays, when Honganji is having the big celebration or service, they set a tent or booth in the courtyard, then delivering the Dharma message on Q&A sessions. So at that time, also Honganji set the tent then for the Q&A session. Mr. Hirano visited that Q&A session. Then he explained the importance of establishing the Buddhist community in the United States to the ministers. Then, even before he returned to US, he again visited Honganji, our mother temple. Then he met the same minister, Reverend Nishijima, again to request sending the Buddhist minister to the United States. The next year, 1898, at that time, Monshu, our religious leader, Myonyo, sent 2 ministers to investigate a condition among the immigrants, Japanese in Northern California, as well as Vancouver, Canada, and one more place, San Francisco, Vancouver, and Seattle. So those two ministers to investigate how Japanese people are doing in California, Canada, Vancouver, and Seattle, they came. Then later, San Francisco group established the youth YBA, Youth Buddhist Association. Then those members of 83 members of YMBA was sent the letter to Honganji requesting the establishment of Buddhist mission in North America. The 1899 in April, they don't have ministers yet. That's why for the Hanamatsuri service, those lay members celebrated Hanamatsuri on their own. May 21st, they celebrated the Gotan-e Shinran Shonin's, our founder's birthday. Then September 1st, two ministers, Dr. Reverend Shuei Sonoda as Kantoku, as a director, and Reverend Kakuryo Nishijima arrived in San Francisco as first missionary to the North America. Then, surprisingly, September 12th, an article describing the arrival of the two Buddhist ministers' priests was published in the San Francisco Chronicle. A photograph of Dr. Sonoda and Reverend Nishijima in robes, just like me, was published in the Chronicle the following day. Those PDF copy, the picture is on the BCA's website. If you go to the BCA's website, you can see those 1899 San Francisco Chronicle. Is that amazing? Those two new arrival Buddhist minister was on the news, on the newspaper. 2010, I arrived in San Francisco. No one came. None of the newspaper, they came to take a picture or interview me. I came to Seattle 2017. None of the local newspaper came to interview me, right? But 1899, 124 years ago, those newspapers interviewed these two ministers. That's, to me, that's kind of a historical moment. That's how, those even non-Buddhist people also thought it is something new, something people are interested, something important to put on the newspaper, local newspaper. Then on the same year, in November, that's also, I was really surprised. One Caucasian group was organized for Dharma propagation. So already, they came in September, in November, already those Caucasian group was organized for the Dharma propagation. Then on the same year, Sacramento group, Bukkyo Seinenkai YBA, was established. The next year, already those Caucasian groups started the study session. Then Fresno YBA was established. Vacaville YMBA was established. Then 1900, April 8th, Hanamatsuri was celebrated. So 2 p.m., the service for the Caucasian, English service. Then there's another service was scheduled at 8 p.m. for the Japanese group, Japanese-speaking group. Then Reverend Nishijima and Dr. Sonoda gave their English Dharma talk to the English-speaking people. According to this book, 150 people, 150 Caucasian English-speaking people came to listen to their English Dharma talk. That's also really struck me. How many people here? 150? A little bit less than that. So then they continue propagate the Jodo Shinshu teachings. Then in 1901, then in Seattle, YBA was established as a fifth Buddhist group in the BCA history. So this is the really beginning of Buddhist churches of America. So then, even after that, lots of temples were built, established. Then people try to maintain those sangha, the temple. This temple, or Japanese Americans, or all, people experience the World War II. We have lots of hard time, but still, lots of sangha members continue maintain the sangha, maintain the temple. So that's why we are able to get together here, then to listen to the Dharma. So today, I introduced the passage from the collected works of Shinran Kyogyo Shinsho. Shinran Shonin mentioned, I have corrected, or this is a quote from Anrakshu from Master Taocho wrote. I have corrected true word to aid others in their practice for attaining birth, in order that the process be made continuous, without end, without interruption, by which those who have been born first guide who came later. Those who are born later join those who were born before. This is so that the boundless ocean of birth and death be exhausted. So the Shinran Shonin, 800 years ago, he wrote this book. He quoted this from one of the seven masters' book. That he also saying, we have to listen to those who are born first. So our seniors, we have to listen. Then, as a senior members, their responsibility to guiding other people. So then this is the way how we can continue this sangha, maintain the sangha and the temple and this teaching to generations. So now I just talk about, the thinking about this world, people who are born in this world first, people who are born in this world later. But this can be the thinking, we can think about those who are born in the Pure Land first, guiding the people who are coming late. Those who are born in the Pure Land first, as a bodhisattva, they're guiding us. Those who are going to the Pure Land later, we should listen to their voice, their guidance. So we may not hear, we have to hear their voiceless voice. We can listen their voice from these histories. We maybe remember the people who gave us the guidance before. At the end of my Dharma message, I'd like to introduce one of my senpai, senior minister, give me the suggestion, advice. His name is Reverend Hanayama, who passed away about 7 to 10 years ago. Some of you may remember him. So he passed away because of the cancer. He was maybe the age of 50. He was still young when he passed away. So he was kind of person who is really straightforward, the honest person. So that's why, sometimes his guidance was really really strict advice sometimes I received. So, at that time, he was already experienced about 20 years. So I was maybe second year minister here in the BCA. So, first I came to the United States, I had so much pressure. Okay, now I spread the teaching here in BCA in the United States. So I have so much passion, then I have so much energy. I do have so much passion too, right now too. But at that time, as a new arriving minister, I have so much passion. Then Reverend Hanayama told me, hey, you cannot propagate the Jodo Shinshu here in the United States. That's what he said. You don't think you can do it. Don't think about that way. Well, why? Your ability, those senior ministers try their best. But still, it is so difficult to propagate the Jodo Shinshu teaching here in the United States. That's not easy. That's not easy. You don't take it is easy to propagate the Jodo Shinshu here in the United States. At that time, Bishop Ogui was, sometimes he was mentioning how we can make Jodo Shinshu as a major religion in the United States. How we can make it. He was keep saying that. To achieve that goal, Reverend Hanayama says, we have to have someone like a Reverend Rennyo Shonin. So, you know, when Shinran Shonin's time, 800 years ago, Jodo Shinshu was minor religion in Japan. Lots of reverend ministers, religious leaders tried their best to propagate the Jodo Shinshu in Japan, but still, Jodo Shinshu was minor religion. Then, a couple hundred years later, Rennyo came. Then he made so much effort, then Jodo Shinshu was spread all over Japan. We need someone like Rennyo in US. Then Jodo Shinshu will be spread all over in the United States. Then this could be the major religion in the United States. But please know that you cannot be like a Rennyo. However, after 100 years, 200 years, someone like Rennyo maybe appear in the United States. However, at that time, if there is no temple, if there is no Sangha, Jodo Shinshu is not going to spread. We have to maintain the temple. We have to maintain the Sangha until the time when someone like a Rennyo appeared in the United States. That's he mentioned. That's the Kaikyoshi, our minister's job. We maintain, we keep the Sangha until the time when the time comes. So this is a totally different advice from other Buddhist ministers. You know, other senpai ministers were saying to propagate the Jodo Shinshu, you can try this way. You can try this way. You have to study English. You have to study more. You have to hold a study session. That's a good advice. But at the same time, Hanayama Sensei's advice also struck me. Oh, that's true. That makes me more clear what I have to do here in the United States. More realistic advice I received. Not discouraging, you know, me to spread the teaching. To me, that's more encouraging me to maintain this temple, maintain the Sangha, spread the teaching. So on this BCA Founding Day, this is one of my treasures which I received from my senior minister, which I wanted to introduce. So I cannot do, you know, one person's power ability is limited, but if we can work together, we can maintain this temple, maintain the Sangha, spread the teaching. So all of you here today, those who are listening to my Dhamma message at home, to please think, you know, how you can pass this teaching, pass this Sangha, pass this temple to the next generations, to your children, to your grandchildren. Please think about it. Please make some effort to passing this down to generation to generations. So thank you for attending this service this morning. To conclude my Dhamma message, please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo. ありがとうございました。